The legend of the humble farmer. In the heart of Ethiopia, nestled between rolling hills and golden fields, lay the village of Abroka. It was a land of fertile soil and hardworking people, yet among them, one man stood out, Abednego, the humble farmer. Unlike the others, who toiled for personal gain, Abednego worked not just for himself but for the well-being of his entire village. His hands were rough from years of labor, but his heart was soft with kindness. Abednego's farm was modest, yet it flourished more than any other in Abroka. His crops were always the greenest, his cattle the healthiest, and his home always had food for any traveler in need. He never hoarded his harvest, instead, he shared it freely with widows, orphans, and the elderly. While other farmers laughed at his generosity, he simply smiled and continued his work. One fateful morning, as Abednego tilled his land under the rising sun, a sudden gust of wind swept through his fields. The air grew thick with an unfamiliar scent, one of old wisdom and untold mysteries. When the wind settled, an old man dressed in white robes stood before him. His eyes held the depth of the universe, and his presence was both calming and powerful. "I am Aziz, a messenger from the gods," the old man said. "The heavens have watched your kindness, Abednego, and they are pleased. Because of your selflessness, you shall receive a gift, but with it comes great responsibility." Aziz reached into his robes and pulled out a small, intricately carved wooden box. Inside this box is a single seed, unlike any other. Plant it, nurture it, and it shall reveal its purpose in time. But remember, power can be a blessing or a curse, depending on how it is used. With that, the old man disappeared as suddenly as he had come. Abednego, filled with wonder and humility, took the seed and planted it in the richest soil on his farm. Each day, he watered it, shielded it from harsh winds, and spoke to it as if it were a living being. The villagers scoffed at him. "Why waste time on a single seed?" they mocked. But Abednego was patient. Then, on the seventh day, a miracle occurred. The seed sprouted and grew not like any ordinary plant, but at an extraordinary speed. Within weeks, it had become a towering tree, its golden leaves shimmering under the sunlight, its bark radiating a warm, calming scent. Birds flocked to its branches, and weary travelers found peace in its shade. The village elders, once skeptical, now stood in awe of the sacred tree. They named it the Bon Shadan, the Tree of Light. As word of the tree spread, people from distant lands came to witness its beauty. Many claimed that sitting beneath its branches filled them with wisdom, healed their sicknesses, and calmed their troubled hearts. Abednego, ever humble, allowed all to come freely. But with such great power came the greed of men. One night, a group of bandits, led by the ruthless warlord Gashu, entered Abroka. They had heard whispers of the sacred tree and sought to claim it for themselves. Under the cover of darkness, they stormed Abednego's farm, setting fire to his fields and demanding he surrender the tree's secret. But Abednego, despite his gentle nature, stood firm. "This tree belongs to no man," he declared. "It was given to us all, to be used for good." Gashu's patience wore thin. With a cruel smile, he unsheathed his sword. "If you will not share its power, then you shall die with it." Just as Gashu raised his sword, a fierce wind howled through the village. The tree's leaves glowed, and suddenly, its branches moved as if alive. A deep rumbling echoed through the earth, shaking the very ground beneath them. Then, as if guided by unseen forces, the villagers rose up. Men and women who had once been afraid now found courage in their hearts. Armed with farming tools and sheer determination, they fought back against the warlord and his men. Abednego, though never a warrior, stood at the front, using his staff to fend off attackers. His people followed his lead, striking down the invaders one by one. The battle raged until the first light of dawn, when Gashu, wounded and defeated, fled with his remaining men. Though victorious, the village was left in ruins. Homes had been burned, fields destroyed. Abednego, with tears in his eyes, knelt before the sacred tree and whispered, "What must I do?" The tree, as if answering his plea, shed its golden leaves. Where they touched the ground, crops began to sprout, homes repaired themselves, and the wounded were healed. The people wept with joy, for they knew the gods had blessed them once more. But Abednego, weary and knowing his purpose had been fulfilled, smiled one last time before disappearing into the morning mist, his body vanishing like the wind. To this day, the village of Abroka remains a land of peace and prosperity. The sacred tree still stands, its golden leaves whispering secrets of hope. And the legend of Abednego, the humble farmer who fought for his people, lives on in the hearts of all who walk the land. For in the end, true strength is not measured by power or wealth, but by the kindness we show, the courage we embrace, and the legacy we leave behind. Written and created by CEO Media Generation Entertainment TV. Mr. Akinmosu Bakinson Babitunde. Thanks for watching.